All right. So I've got Michael back with me. Michael, it is so good to see you again. It's been almost a month since Date with Destiny at least started. Um, in that time, update us. What's been going on? What's new in your life?
Wow. Well, I mean, it is definitely an experience that you must do. I actually told my boss about it, and he's excited to learn more from me about it. It's it, it's hard to explain. I mean, because it touches so much of you that you have a long time to digest it, and you still are digesting it. I'm still digesting it even a month after.
Right.
Um, I will say I started watching the video we first did, and I noticed, my thoughts are scattered. The way I talk, you can tell that I'm scattered all over the place, and that's the way I was for so many years and for a long period of time. Now I have clarity and focus. My dreams are back. I have vivid, full color dreams with dialogues. Going into Date with Destiny, I had some ideas. I have a lot of product ideas, but I also had some book ideas that I wanted to do, and I had wrote synopses for these books and stories that I want to do. And I was thinking that I might come out of Date with Destiny and know how to do those better and stuff like that. But when I first came out, I'll have to say I can tell my thinking had totally changed so much that it felt like my body went into rejection mode. My wavelengths had totally changed. My focus had totally changed from something my body had not been used to for almost its entire life. And so almost 48 hours afterwards, when the adrenaline wore down, I got sick. I had 3 days straight in bed. I could not get out of bed. Total head to toe body aches, and never been sick like this before. I thought it was the flu, but I think I had a lot more. It felt like I was going through detoxing of negative energy, really is what it was. And it took me several weeks to get better. I recently just got better, and so, but the dreams started almost immediately, and it was like so every night now when I dream, I could, if I could plug it in my head, I would be recording a movie. It's that powerful. Ooh, sorry, I hope I didn't blink out there. While we're talking here, that means I got to do something here real quick. I didn't realize that I was almost out of power. So anyways, I can tell that my thoughts have changed. I'm not so out of tune. I'm more in tune, and so it's taken a little bit to get used to, in a sense. And it's funny because one of these dreams that I had, and I was talking about it, I woke up, and I fully remembered it, and I sat down and just started writing, boom, like 10 pages. And now I have this 10-page whole new idea of a book that I'm writing. And so I've been researching and doing a lot of reading now. Got a lot of suggestions from people from Date with Destiny of the things to research, and what to research, and how to write, how to develop a storyline, that kind of thing. And it's been really interesting in a sense that it came out like this. And the people are amazing. The whole process that you go through, and when you go, you like they say, play full out. And because it seems like not everybody there was, but if you really get serious about it, you really get the change that they talk about. Don't leave, don't go out to get dinner or lunch or whatever, you stay there. You pay that much money, you better enjoy every second of it, and that's what I did. I was prepared. I had my little bag of snacks and water and jackets and everything I brought with me, and it's amazing how cold that he likes it to get. But I can see why. I can understand that process is set up in such a manner that it institutes that kind of change, because the massive action, you got to take massive action, and I feel great. I mean, it's like, I don't dwell anything on the past. All those negative thoughts or negative energies they're gone. I don't feel like I'm carrying around a bag of crap anymore, you know, and, and so you have a sense of freedom, also, it helps you realize and appreciate the things that you weren't appreciating. I can say I'm thankful for my wife, who was very supportive, and there was that one time about the freedom, and everyone, the guys needing the freedom, and you know, my wife is always given me that freedom, and that's what's helped me get better. Look to something like this to get to that next level, and so I've got more ideas of how to continue this process, because you're not done. You've got your board to look at. You've got to do your affirmations every day. You've got to keep working. This is just the start. This is the kick in the butt that you need to get to where you want to go, and you've got to continue that process forward to get there. And I've got that goal set up to help other vets, and that's where I'm going to get. And if I got to do that, as much as alone as I will, I got to start it now, and then I'll get other people on board. I've been working now with some of the other veterans groups, because there's some other guys that are been going to these events that are some of the security guys that were there that have been to the UPW and stuff like that. I will go to UPW. I won't be able to do it in March. Maybe the next one I'll catch. I was really hopeful that I could do the business mastery this month, but probably not. So maybe the next one. It'd be easier if I could do this one, but I don't want to throw too much on the pile at once.
Right.
Because I actually have some other things going on. Like I just started college again and getting my MBA, and at the same time of still working the 9-to-5er, and I actually have 3 events that I have to do this year. 2 of them I'm presenting papers and stuff like that for my industry. So I got a lot to look forward to in the next 4 months. But I did sign up. There's another event coming here to Orlando. David Bear is doing a 3-day thing, which I signed up for.
Nice.
With a couple other people from the Date with Destiny will be going also. So that'll be, full 3 days, which will be interesting, because I have a week. That week before, I will get back from an event that I have to do for my company, and then jump into that for 3 days and not have a break. My buddy was like, "Well, you want to go to UPW, which is a few days after that?" I said, "Well, no, that's a little too much there. 3 in a row, but not right now." So I have college to worry about too. So,
right. Oh my gosh,
that's. But,
so Michael, what would you say was your biggest takeaway from Date with Destiny that you've been working on?
My biggest takeaway. Wow, there's so many. It's hard to put a finger on one thing. I mean, definitely to continue to practice. Don't let myself stop myself, and that's what I was doing it for. Myself was stopping myself. I need to focus on continuing this process, getting my butt up anyway. When I don't want to get up, I get up. When my mind tells me not to do something, I do it. And that's it. Enough's enough. I need to there's no more procrastination. There's no more anything else. It's gonna get done. It will get done.
Yeah.
And I was talking in the last video about that line between massive action and going too far. The hell with it. No such thing as going too far. You keep trying. You may not get all of it. You will get a lot of it, but that's just it. You gotta learn one way or another, and there's no such thing as fail. It's only, okay, I tried that. It didn't work. Let's learn what we can from that. What does it mean to me? That's one of Tony's questions is always asked, well, what does this mean to me? And I could say that's one of the takeaways that I always continue to use on a daily basis. I can tell that, a lot of my feelings have changed and everything's positive. You know, I don't get upset or angry. You know, there was just the other day, last week at the end of the week, I was at work and then I had to go to lunch and like 3 things happened that would have normally upset me. And it almost in a row. And I was just like, oh, this is cool. This is life. You know, I'm happy. You know, I've got hot sauce all over my brand new Italian merino sweater, and I'm laughing. I mean, at Publix, I was at Publix getting lunch, and this, I explained there's this hot sauce. I grab it up, and I'm at the deli counter, and hot sauce just flies all over me. I'm like, I start laughing at myself. And normally people would get upset, you know, like, yeah, I just bought this sweater. It was, you know, my merino sweater in Italy. I just bought it last September when I was there. It's my favorite sweater, and now I've got hot sauce all over. I'm just like, oh, okay, life, what's next? You know, and then a couple other things happened, and so I sat back that afternoon and I was like, wow, you know, I wasn't even so much as upset or nothing. The people were all, oh, I'm sorry. Like, yeah, okay, no problem. Thanks for reminding me I'm alive. You know? You just gotta enjoy it, and that's what it is. It's enjoy every day, no matter what it is, because that's just life. You know.
Yeah.
And then looking at that from that perspective and watching people just, you know, some people sit there and get angry over stupid things. It's like, why are you angry? What does that serve? You know, it doesn't serve anything, and it won't serve me anymore. That's for sure, or serve to me. So, you know, it's great to have the positive aspect and be happy, and you know, just it is what it is. You know, and life is like that. It's going to give you those things that would be up and down, but it's only down if you make it down, you know? Right. Yeah. And that's just it. And so, yeah, I guess maybe that's in a nutshell my takeaway.
I love that. It reminds me of something Tony said multiple times, which is, you know, most people approach life as it happens to me instead of life happens for me. And all our experiences come from, they make us into the person we are. So I think that's awesome. And what a great reminder. We're all human. We're all dealing with it. So is there anything, if someone was on the fence about whether or not they should go to Date with Destiny, what would you say to them?
Don't listen to yourself. Get off the fence and go. You know, I did the same thing. Because I hadn't used personal credit cards, or had any for many years, because after the market and everything, you know, I was affected by that, lost, you know, all that thousands of dollars, blah, blah, blah. So I decided I was going to run off of cash, and I had done that for over the last 10 years, more than that, and finally decided to break down and get credit cards again. And so I had credit cards, and I was like, well, I didn't save up the money to pay for this, and didn't have it planned out. And I was like, well, I want to go. And when I was on the fence about going, you know, like I said, thanks to my loving wife, she's a very sweetheart and supportive. I asked her, her first reply was, honey, it's only money. You can, you know, if you really want to go, go. You know, and I asked a few other people like my mom, and she was supportive. But it's interesting that you'll always find some people that aren't, you know. My sister wasn't, and it's funny, I shouldn't talk about her on this, but she was like, no, you want to go, call my husband and ask him, and he'll give you life advice, and he's a professor of law, and I was like, no, you know, I think I want to go to, if you're gonna learn, like I said in the last video, you know, if you want to learn something, you'll learn from the past. You know, you really, and this immersion process, the Date with Destiny, I think was more suited for what I was looking for, because, you know, I looked at the UPW, and I'd still like to do the UPW, but that, you know, is a larger group. It's only 3 days. You know, really you get a lot more change with this. You look at a lot more aspects. You build a plan for yourself. You know, you make a lot of good friends. And this is a little more intimate, like he says. It is much more intimate. And seeing him and both Paige up there, Paige was her soul is so beautiful, it just shines from the stage. It was gorgeous. And you get all of that from both of them. And so I think the Date with Destiny is the most productive and for you as a person. And then once, like I had said in our previous video, you got to start at home. Well, you got to start inside. You got to start inside, and from there, then anything is possible. And once you accomplish that, and that's what this program is about. It's about working on yourself and getting yourself, where you want to be, or where you should be, where God wants you to be, in the sense, and not stuck in that head,
Right. Right. No, I totally agree. I think so I went to college. I got not a master's, a bachelor's. Sorry. That's how memorable it was. What did I get again?
Yeah.
I got a bachelor's in marketing. And over the 6 days at Date with Destiny, I learned more from Tony Robbins than I did the entire 4-year college experience I went through. For me, it was like, man, before I send my kids to college, I'm going to send them to that.
Yeah, I mean, you can say that the Date with Destiny teaches you all the stuff that you should have been taught. I mean, really, they should have something like that for kids in the school systems, to start them off properly. And that's, that would really excel our children today if they had, something like that. And it was cool to hear about that Tony is doing something like that for the children, but, a lot of those aspects that they teach there, they really should be teaching in regular schools, and it's just amazing because it gives you the process for life. Really,
right.
and once you get that, it's like, oh wow, yeah, somebody had said, he doesn't teach you anything new, and I when I was talking to my boss about this down, I said, yeah, you know what, it's really not anything that's new. It's just the format that it's put in, how it's presented, in the order that it's presented, to get you to think, in the proper manner, in the proper direction. You got to make the steps. You can't jump to the top step and then go down to the bottom step, otherwise you'll fall. So,
Right.
and he does the steps just right. And so, yeah, you can say, yeah, I learned this here, I learned that there in life, but you didn't put all those together till you went to the Date with Destiny, and it was all put together in a manner. And you can apply each of those things, like he talks about the story. Well, that story you can apply to marketing, you can apply to yourself, you can apply improvement, you can apply to writing the book, which is what I'm doing. You can apply, it is the same basis for many things that are out there. And a lot of people don't make that realization, when they first hear that information, because they get it presented only with a pair of blinders on. Whereas, here, Tony just takes the blinders off and says, here it is. Step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? Okay.
Nope. I love it. No, that is awesome. So on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 is don't waste your time. 10 is if you have to mortgage your house, sell your car, whatever you need to do to get there, go. What would you give Date with Destiny?
Well, I have one tattoo on my back. It's right back here. And I guess of being an engineer, I chose that symbol many, many years ago. It's infinity. You can't put a number on something that's priceless, that will infinitely change your life for the rest of it. How much money what kind of price tag could you put on it? You can't. What kind of, will you want to hesitate and wait 10 years to change your life, or do you want to, do it now? Well, just do it, right? Because that's all there is to it. If you're thinking about hesitating, at least you got to the point that you're thinking about it. And if you got to that point, then the answer is yes.
Yeah.
Because that's it. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Get off, fall off, jump off, get your heart to tell your mind it's stupid. You need to move forward.
Oh, I love that. It is so true. Oh, well, that is awesome. Any last words you'd like to leave someone who's doing some research about Date with Destiny and go from there?
It's interesting. When I do research, it's always easy to look at the positive things, right? When I do research, I always look at the negative things, look at what could go wrong, what's happened, and I looked at, I looked up there for the negative content, comments about Tony online, and I only found one negative comment about Tony online. It was at a UPW in 2018, and the person obviously was the person that had the issue, and I read it and I said, wow, that makes me want to go. I was like, I agree with Tony. I'm not going to get into the comment or anything, but I will say this. You could tell that person was jaded in a negative manner and in such a negative mind space, where I read it and said, I don't want to be that person. I better go.
Oh my gosh.
And it wasn't about Date with Destiny. It was about a UPW, but still, I just said that solidified. That was one of the things that I said, okay, I go. Everyone's going to say something good. You're always good. There is tons of good about it. How could it not be after going? I can say that. But before, I didn't know.
Right.
The movie I'm Not Your Guru is only a smidgen of it, and some people may not want to go because they see that mostly it shows about the one night, the suicide night or whatever. That's the most extreme case that he does, and that's his most outreach because he wants to help people. And one of the things that made me want to go to Tony versus going to any other person's events is the fact that he is genuine. Okay, he's from the heart. You could see it. Watch the videos online. You'll see, if you watch one of the videos from Date with Destiny, the man crying up there, come on, dude, he reaches out with his heart and soul, and he puts his all into it, because you know what? That man got on stage one day, what was it, at noon, and didn't get off till like 2 a.m. I'm sorry, you can't do that unless your heart and soul are completely ingrained into it, and his are. And that's what makes it all the worth it. It gives you what you came there for. And he doesn't stop until you get it, so.
Yeah. All I can say to that is amen, brother. That's awesome.